Hey everybody, Wanda Thibodeau here of TakingDictation.com. Today we are talking about money. We're talking about advances. A book advance is a one-time payment that a publisher makes to an author for the publication of a book. And usually that is based on an estimate of what that book might earn in the market. You do not have to pay the advance back. It is just kind of like a one-time paycheck. Publishers usually offer advances because then that secures them the rights to publish that book. But they also offer advances because that gives the writer enough money to live off of, well, hopefully, but it gives them money so that they don't have to worry about other things while they're writing, so that they can really focus and produce a high-quality book. The exact amount of a book advance can be all over the map. You can have a $0 advance, or you can have one that is millions of dollars. And it all depends on a lot of factors, such as who you are, whether you already have a platform, the subject of the book. Again, there are a lot of factors that go into that. A typical advance is generally going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of $5,000 to $50,000. Traditionally, a book advance pays out in two big installments, and the first installment you get when you sign your contract. You get the second when you deliver your manuscript and the publisher accepts it. But now a lot of publishers are adding milestones to that. So you might have as many as 4 or 5 installments to your advance. Now what that means is that sometimes you actually will be getting money after the book publishes, which means is it really an advance, you know? So that's changing a little bit. Now if that happens, what that basically means is that you're going to have to find a way to continue to fund yourself. Essentially, the advance is supposed to pay you so that you can write the book, but if you're getting paid afterwards, obviously you're going to have to self-fund a little bit. One important thing to know is that if you have a literary agent, of course, they're going to take a fee, and usually that's somewhere in the neighborhood of 15 to 20%. So then what happens with the advance is that the publishing house will send your check to your agent. The agent will then take their cut, and then the agent will then send a new check to you. Advances and royalties are pretty closely connected. If you want to think of your advance like your main paycheck, you can think of your royalties kind of like a bonus. And so what happens is your advance, again, is paid out based on the estimate of what that book is going to, how that book is going to sell, and how much money it's going to make the publisher. And so it's calculated against future royalties. So what that means is, so for example, say you have an advance of $10,000. And your royalty agreement works out to be, $1 for every book. Well, then you would have to sell 10,000 books before your advance, what we call, pays out. Now, after it pays out, then you will actually start to earn additional royalties or your bonus on the book that you have written. So they're very closely related. Another thing you want to know about advances versus royalties is that, again, while an advance is a one-time payment, your royalties can continue on for as long as that book is selling. As long as you have copies that people are buying, that publisher should be sending you checks. So that's a very nice agreement that you have. If you have a good royalty percentage, you can be making some decent money long after you write your book.